How's it going, everyone? Today is January 17th, 2020, and this is Thriving Bulls Trade of the Day. Good morning or afternoon, wherever you guys are coming from. This is Thriving Bulls Trade of the Day. We are looking at a buy here on the EURUSD. Actually, quite a nice push up just within the beginning of the video. We got 10 contracts on the one spot 1104, which is an out-of-the-money contract, as you can see here on this particular zone. And then we get bought in at the one spot 11, which is right here at an in-the-money contract. So we're kind of in a little bit of a zone in between here. We have about an hour, a little over an hour until this trade expires. But we might be able to get out ahead on some good pricing. So if we can get out, this particular one is only about $3 in profits, not really a lot. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can't get out. Let's see. We want to probably get out of this one at $10. So we're looking for 65 on this one. We're basically about to start seeing some curvature within the MA, so we're about to see this kind of form, which is going to really help us. And then we're going to go ahead and get out on this one because we got in at 37.5, which is a really good price. So we'll probably get out at this one at 20. So 57.5. So let's go ahead and put that 57.5, and then we'll go ahead and do that. All right. So now we have our pending orders. Alright, and next is, and let me just kind of show you guys this. You can see that the price has surpassed both MAs, which has not done in a while from this downtrend. And what we can see here is that now that it's surpassed both MAs, and it could not pass this red MA either, we're seeing a little bit of a curve going on with the MAs now, and we should be able to see some nice push up. Let's go ahead and go into the chart and see why we took the trade where we did. So as you can see, we were coming all the way down into this -1 deviation. We went ahead and tested. We actually broke through the -5 and then went right through set as well. And it's just been it's just been kind of a downtrend today when it comes to the EURUSD. The U.S. market's not open yet. But the one thing that I wanted to show you guys is, unfortunately, the 15-minute chart is not going to go further than this as of right now. But you can kind of see right here. That is another mark of support, and if I were to draw a line right at the edge of that particular candle, right there, you can see that here, and all through here was consolidation, and then we've come and hit this right to the tick, and we are starting to move up. What we also have within this is some nice divergence as well. You see that we have this low, and this low, and from there we have this low and this low. So we have some nice trending move upwards, but a really nice trend moving downwards. So how do we kind of play this one out? So the best thing to do is to take a Fibonacci tool, go from the recent high down to this recent low, and we can see that price was roughly around that 38.5, roughly around here, or 38.2 rather, sorry. And from there, we can see that we are about to come back into this 23.6. Now, if we get into that 23.6, this is where we'll probably go ahead and close the trade out. If we go and close this Fibonacci out, and we draw another Fibonacci from this low, or this high, down to this low, we can really see where price will maybe end up on like the slower time frame, or the lower time frame rather, on like the 1 minute, and we can kind of get an idea as to what is happening in a smaller picture. So we can see that price has come into the 23.6, and what we're going to see happen possibly is a little nice retracement back into possibly the 50, and then maybe come down into that 38.2, and then come back into that 61.8, and then come down to that 38.2, and then maybe come into the 78.6. That's what we're going to try and hope to happen. We're seeing some movement downwards right now, probably to come down and test these lows once again, and maybe even come down and test that -1 deviation as well. That wouldn't surprise me. But we do have over an hour. We have an hour and 8 minutes until this trade expires, and our trade is not that far off. I know we had one spot 11, which is right there. Let's go ahead and make that exact. We'll go ahead and make this, and that. And I believe we had 1.14. Oh, one of our trades actually just closed. Perfect. It was actually our 1.11 trade. Our 1.11 trade, it closed in for $10 worth of profit per contract. So it was about $50. And now we're looking for this 37 to get to 57, 57.5. So we're looking for that. So as you can see now, you can really start to see that curvature happening. The only problem is that now the candles are acting as, the MAs are acting as resistance rather than support. And that's not a good thing, but we can see that we are a little, these MAs are getting closer and closer and closer to where we should possibly see some nice trend move upwards. And we can get out of this trade as well. So 1.1104 is where we were at on the other one. So let's go ahead and move this one because that one's out now. And this is our other trade. So if at least we can get, at least over into that particular trade, let's actually go into this and draw this out again. And as you can see, I mean, right on the dot, we can see that the price is at 38.2, right on the dot of our price. So as we get a little higher here, let's go ahead and go into NADEX. We're just going to have to kind of watch this thing because it could hit that 38.2 and just kind of ricochet off of it and come back down again. But we are acting, now the MAs are acting as support, which is what we want. We're seeing, as you can see, some nice curve. They're getting closer and closer. A nice curve upwards is starting to happen. So we should start to see some nice move up. We are about $50 in the profit as far as this trading day right now. But if we were to close this out, we'd be like only maybe $10 in profit, and we could settle for that if we really wanted to. But we have over an hour until this trade expires, and I don't think that we're going to move down much lower. And if we do, it's only going to be to touch the -1 and then come back up and rally. So that's our prediction. If we can kind of get into this 1.1106, if we can get around this range to test this little zone right here, then that will be a good, probably to be able to get out at that 57 spot to spot 5, which is where we kind of want it. So that's where we're going to kind of watch. Let me go ahead and go into our chart, and we can really see, I mean, price is just having a really tough time breaking that 23.6 where it's at right now. We're kind of in this consolidation market. Let's go ahead and see what's happening now. Are we going to finally get that push up that we want? Gonna have to just kind of keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. If we have to close this other one out for $10, we're just going to have to just kind of watch the market and see how it works. Now we can see that the MAs have crossed over, as you can see here. That's a good sign as well. This is why I've always, preached about MAs in past videos. I mean, we have a 200 MA right here, which is really, really good. And these, these kind of help you out when it comes to seeing what to predict. And seeing where a trend might end and all that, whether it's a short-term trend, a long-term trend, it really helps with that. So we're going to kind of watch this trade develop. We have our pending order, and we're going to get out whenever it gets to $20 and worth of profit. We're still kind of far away from it. We may actually go ahead and drop it down to 15, only because we have over an hour left. And, we're not even $10 worth of profit, and we're so close to strike. So the liquidity is not really going into our favor. So let's go ahead and change this. Let's go ahead and amend this order down $5. So 56 spot 5, 55, 54, 53, 52. All right, we'll amend it there. 52.50. All right, so now we're at 52.50. So now we're getting closer, about $10 away from our 52.50 zone. So we should see it right about here is where we should see that closer. So let's go ahead and just kind of watch it. We may be able to see this close live on camera. And as you can see, I mean, you can just really see the liquidity from the current. If you watch this on the video, you can really kind of see it's just moving all sorts of ways, and the price is like going really nowhere. And so that's just kind of what you have when it comes to NADEX. The liquidity just kind of gets kind of weird and jumpy. It's why it's always good to have your pending orders in place and just be prepared for whatever the market's going to kind of, hit you with. And we have 10 contracts on this particular asset as well because it was such low risk. I mean, we risked only $37.50 for this trade, so which isn't really a lot at all. It was an out-of-the-money contract. Let's go back into the chart and see what's happening. All right, so we're hitting kind of this zone right here. This is kind of acting as some sort of zone from what I can gather, and we are coming back down to that 23.6. But again, we have over an hour. Let's go ahead and just pause the video and let's just see what happens when we come back. Maybe we'll get filled on that 52 spot 5, or or we won't. It's going to be one or the other. We may have to close the trade out for a loss. We usually try to kind of hold these things out. That's why we try to look for out of the money contracts or nice in the money contracts that aren't, super expensive, things of that nature, to kind of just see what we can hold on to for long term. But yeah, we'll come back and see what happens. All right, we are back again. What we can see happening here is that we actually came all the way down into that -1 deviation here, as we can see. And we've come all the way back up to that 23.6. We might go ahead and close out some of these trades. We have 48 minutes left until the trades do expire, which isn't too bad. We have about $50 in profit right now, so if we actually were to go ahead and close these out, but we kind of want to just try to see if we can get as much profit as we can without trying to suck the market dry. So we're going to kind of watch these. Still, we're wanting to get into that one spot 1104, which is right about here. So if we can kind of come back into that zone, then we can try to close these out. So what we'll probably try and do is close C. So we can actually close this one out for the $5 worth of profit on this one if we wanted to. Just trying to look at the market to kind of see what we could expect. So at 50, because we want to go ahead and see, because if we were to close this one out right now, it wouldn't make much sense because we want this to go higher. So if this one were to go higher, this one will too. And so we kind of want, if we can kind of get back, again, if we can get kind of back into this zone right here, then we'll be able to close these out for the profit. And so we kind of want to get ready for that. So we'll go ahead and get ready for our trade. So we're seeing some overall profit right now, only by a couple of dollars. The liquidity is just a little finicky right now. We'll get ready to close this one. Let's go ahead and see what yeah, it's having a really tough time breaking that 23.6. We'll go ahead and get rid of this position as well. Alright, so as we can see here, what we ended up doing was actually closing the trades out for about $150 worth of profit off of those trades. We actually went ahead and bought into other trades because of the market coming down and touching into that -1, which we kind of expected to happen. But we had about 47 minutes left until the trades expired, but we wanted to be able to, because we're getting back into the zone that has kind of failed before, we wanted, it acted as support here, it acted as resistance twice, or actually 3 times, 1, 2, 3. And so because price was going back into that zone and it's on the top Keltner and we're looking at it getting into the overbought zone, we want to just kind of be careful with that. So that was our trade. Hope that you guys enjoyed that. If you guys have any questions, please do not hesitate to comment in the comment section down below or visit our website at www.thrivingbull.com. There you'll be able to find our full access package, which is still on sale for $150 a month. You're able to get the thriving signals, the deviation levels, which is what you're seeing here in this video today, as well as our auto trader. The thriving signals are typically $100 a month. The deviation levels are typically $90 a month. So that's a $190 value. So you're able to get the full access package for $150, so $40 off, and you're basically getting the auto trader for free. If you have any questions, please visit our website at www.thrivingbull.com.